we are creative professionals, and we do this sort of thing for everybody else every day, all the time, and thought it was about time we did it for ourselves. That's pretty much it, isn't it?
That's pretty much it.
And also because I've been listening to other podcasts and been like, we've got all the stuff to do this. We might as well just do it. But now we're here. I have no idea why we chose to do this.
Yeah. So if anyone is actually watching this and thinks of a name for this podcast,
yeah, chuck it at us because we don't have one yet. We might have by the end of it, maybe.
Yeah, I think the best we had so far was coffee chats or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure something out. This is so boring. So if we let's start by sort of introducing each other. Trying not to take too. Actually, let's get a stopwatch up and you've got to do it in less than because otherwise we're just going to rattle on. Where's the clock on this thing? Oh my god. What? Utilities? There it is. Okay. Right, stopwatch. Do you want to go first or should I rock, paper, scissors for it?
Right,
who's going? So the
winner has to speak about the other one first.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So rock, 2, 3.
Crack on.
The winner has to talk about the other person first. Oh, so I've got to talk about you first.
Yeah.
All right, cool. 30 seconds. Okay, this is Stefan Kelk. He is a musician, producer, composer, photographer, videographer. He kind of does a bit of everything. He is the musical genius behind Kin, the musical, which is going to be gracing theatres very soon. It's all over the place. It's all on Spotify. Go and check it out. Just a creative musical wizard and brilliant to gig with. That's definitely 30 seconds.
That's 30 seconds, is it?
Yeah, that's really quick.
Yeah. All right,
cool.
Reset. Go.
And go.
All right, Dave is a photography wizard. I like the word wizard. Photography and videography wizard. Lots of visual understanding, and also a musician that plays a million instruments. Singer extraordinaire. His voice goes higher than Liza Minnelli and Miss Piggy. And if you wanted him to play Miss Piggy in a cartoon, he'd probably do that for you as well.
I would do that. I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Plus, he and I have the space in Whitstable. That's it, is it?
Yeah, that's it. You're done. Although, finish that sentence.
Yeah, well, this studio that we're in right now is a place where we can provide photography, videography, music, recording, etc., etc., etc. And Dave is the brains behind this space.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, we've both been touring musicians and session players and session singers for as long as I can remember, really, for at least the last sort of 6, 7 years, and both been taking our studios with us to work. And now, well, I mean, we came back just before COVID.
Yeah.
Came back to England just before COVID, and I met what is to be my beautiful wife, and have settled down and have now 2 kids, and was like, I want to continue doing the work that we've been doing abroad, but I actually want to be able to provide for a family at the same time with it. So, I mean, it's completely my fault that Steph is now grounded as well, because I've basically not given him the option. But it was like, yeah, let's do all that we do, but let's have a space to do it from. We've been in here a week and a half.
Yeah.
Lots has happened, but there's lots to happen.
Yeah, there's plenty going to change, but it's on the way.
We're just we've got to get going, otherwise we won't get going. But this will all look slightly different in the next few weeks. The space is available for people to come and hire if they want to use the stuff that we use. We're available to hire. But yeah, anyway, so then this kind of just goes along with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to try and set up a bit of a kind of community vibe in this space. Like we're just sitting chilling on some sofas, talking about music, talking about tech and how we do what we do. But we're going to definitely open it up to any other creators in the area and try and help. We'll probably learn from some of the people in the area, and they can learn from us. But we want to kind of put this as the central hub for creating stuff, I think.
Yeah. There's a real kind of, I think there's a real competitiveness in the creative industry. There definitely is with music, and I don't know much. I mean, to be honest, I've kind of had my blinkers on for photography and video, but I watch other people's videos and think, oh Christ, I'm never going to be that good. Or you look at other people's photos and go, oh, okay, I want to, like, there's a real competitive nature to it. Music is a bit more cutthroat. People, I think it's probably the same. People are just more loud about it. But I just think people should be helping each other out rather than trying to like screw each other over all the time. And if somebody, like, there's lots of people that are a lot better than I am, and I would much rather work with them than have them go, this dude's a knob, I don't want to work with him, sort of thing. So like, if we can all, I don't know, maybe it's a bit idealistic, but I'd just like to work with everyone. Yeah,
I think it's great.
But right, so we got like a couple of questions.
Yeah,
let's.
Yeah, we're doing.
How's your week been? All right.
Yeah, it's been all right.
All right.
Was that your question?
No, it wasn't. But I feel like we should sort of catch up each time, but we haven't.
It's been a busy week, but it's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always busy, though, isn't it?
I don't feel like it ever.
It's always stuff going on, especially with this space.
It does feel it at the moment. It feels like, really busy, and yet nothing's happening all at the same time.
Dave and I are always balancing gigs. So we've got live music, we've got recorded music, we've got photography stuff, we've got videography stuff. And now we're trying to like build this space in here.
Yeah.
So actually, between us, we probably work about 180 hours a week, just doing stuff.
But the thing is, as well, I mean, the space has kind of grown out of necessity, really, because we're basically building it to be able to provide the things that we need to work most effectively.
Yeah.
But we also understand, like, I mean, my whole ethos is like, be the person that you would have needed 15 years ago.
Yeah, I love that.
So if other kids and other creatives that are just starting out don't have a space like this, like, help them out. Like,
Dave's got a few students under his wing who he definitely shows them a lot more stuff than we ever saw growing up.
Well, I just think like school's great for a lot of things, but it's not good. I mean, it wasn't as good for me. Like, there's so much I learned just by doing it, and I don't know. I mean, music lessons in school were the best they could have been, but like they just didn't teach much. No. And like nobody told me that it was like you can actually earn a living from doing this, and this. And like I don't know. I try and tell the kids that I'm teaching, it's more like coaching really. Teach them how to rehearse together, how to perform together, but more importantly, teach them that they need to be out there doing it now, going to open mics, meeting other people, connecting, recording. And
these days, getting yourself online.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of it.
Well, this is what we're trying to do. We're like 10 years too late. But yeah. So do you want to go? I've got...
No, do one of yours first.
Okay, well, I think the one I think... Because I've got two that are like...
Is it two-parter?
It's not two-parter. Right. Anyway. So, okay. What made you first want to start in the craft that you're in? So, like, your primary craft really is music. Mm-hmm. What made you want to do music?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so I think it pretty much a little bit deep. Probably started off kind of thinking like, you know what, I started doing it because actually, okay, my dad plays music, and I was like, okay, well, I feel like this is, learning instruments kind of fun, bit of just something to do.
That's not a cobweb. It's all right. It's going to end up in my coffee though. Keep going. Sorry, I am listening.
That's all right. Hell. Yeah, learning an instrument was just something to do, kill the time kind of thing. So I got playing guitar. I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. And then I was like, I also sing. It's like, okay, well, this is kind of fun. Put the two together, did a few little... I was also into musical theatre way back when, but well before I wasn't and then was again, you know. So I started doing, finding that I could perform it, and it was getting quite a good reaction. And I feel like early on, it was probably just something to do to kind of stand out from the crowd, you know, when you're kind of a young teenager and you think, you know, what's my place in this world, all that deep stuff. And I was like, you know what, I just kind of fancy being a bit of a muso. This is kind of fun. And I was also an actor at the time, so like actor muso. But then I just found that acting, which wasn't really for me.
Fair enough.
I found I had like a choice at one point where I could have gone and done acting at university or music. And I decided to do music purely because the people I knew who did music at the time, I preferred to the people that I knew that did acting. And so I was literally thinking like, well, you know, it's all about people. Yeah, and I was like, I just want to be surrounded by cool people rather than people that maybe don't really gel with me very well.
Yeah.
So I went and did music. And that was literally, it was a crossroads, and I was like, all right, I'll do that one. That was it for me.
Okay, nice. And then
How about you?
Rattled on from there.
Yeah, rattled on.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever a time I can remember where I didn't want to be a singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I have this weird like memory of being in the back garden in one of my old houses and being like, I just want to be Robbie Williams. Like, and I was proper young. I was really young. Not that I don't want to be Robbie Williams now. Like I could definitely. You know. But yeah, and then like a few years later in primary school, one of my teachers had a guitar. I was like, that looks really cool. And kind of just went from there. It was nice because it meant that I really loved playing, and I still love playing. But it almost facilitated what I needed to do singing wise.
That's it. I found it really difficult to find someone to accompany to do.
Oh man, that's the
so
story of my life. Yeah. Well, that was kind of the whole reason I started anything, was because it was like, I can't find somebody that's going to do this. I'll just learn to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like shortly after learning, I was playing guitar for a couple of years, and then joined a theatre company and was doing that for quite a long time. Yeah, I was in theatre for a long time. But yeah, actually, similarly, I preferred the musician world than I did the acting world. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to go back to acting, but I found it easier to make money from music immediately than I did from acting. So I just carried on with that. But the whole like photography and video side, like I'd always liked it, but I was kind of always told you can't do more than one thing.
Yeah.
Especially in school, when it was like, you can either do this or you can do that. So I was like, well, I can't take photography because I want to do music. And I'm already sort of 5-6 years invested into it at that point. So yeah, and then like I remember I had the first music video, if you can call it that I made. I think I was about 19. I just got a load of cameras, and we were at some the band was called Happy Days. They were a good bunch actually. It was a good laugh, and they were in one of their uncle's back gardens on Herne Bay seafront. I just set up all these cameras and the full PA rig, and then just played, and we did. It was.
Was like the H silence, like Happy Days.
Happy Days. It could have been.
Is that the idea?
It could have been. And it was Days with a Z.
Of course it was.
Z-E. D-A-Z-E. Not like E.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that. And then, I kind of just thought, well, instead of investing the money in a photographer that's going to take some photos of me, I'll just get the camera and learn to do it myself. And then it's kind of become another passion. And I was like, well, do I do music? Do I do photography? Do I do video? Bollocks, I'm just going to do the lot. But it does mean people don't take you as seriously, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Because you're like, well...
Yeah,
you just... don't know.
I think so when I went to uni, they seem to promote the idea that you do several things, like, well, play several instruments, play in several bands, do a bit of everything, do the producing, the playing, everything. They seem to push that, which is the first time I'd ever seen that. Because everywhere else, they'd always kind of said, "Oh, you should really just do one thing. You know, if you're going to play piano, just be the best at piano and don't do anything else."
That's the
just
kind
never. And I couldn't sit still long enough to do that.
No. I mean, I kind of hyper fixate on something.
Yeah.
I like learn a lot about it really quickly because it's the only thing I think about. Like when I started doing portraits, I was like watching every single thing on YouTube I could find, Googling all, like just soaking up all the knowledge. But then, people are like, but you're a musician. I'm like, well, yeah, but I can do both. I like cooking as well, but like,
He does a mean crochet as well.
I do like the mean crochet. What was you must have a...
I can't remember now. Hang on, let's check my official notepad. That was it. It was going to be, what do you think is important to have in a collaborator? Do you think for example, I'll give you an example. Would you look for someone that has similar skills to you or fill in the gaps?
Oh,
it's a loaded question, but unpack it, if you will.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't think there's any right way to answer that.
No.
I think what you said earlier about like getting on with the people, I think it doesn't matter too much. I mean, to a point, it doesn't matter about your skill as long as you get on with the person. Because if you don't, doesn't matter how good from a band perspective, doesn't matter how good the player is. If they're a dickhead, you're not going to get on with them. Then what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're just going to hate being on stage with them every time. So I like to a point. But I don't know. I think there's a fine line because you want somebody that's going to work, that's going to almost read your mind, and you can shoot each other a look and do the same thing at the same time. But at the same time, I want somebody that can do things better. From a band point of view, I want somebody in a band with me that can play their instrument better than I can play it.
Play their instrument.
Play their instrument better than I can. I don't want to sound like a knob, but a lot of the time that's not the case.
Not always the case, yeah.
It's not. I get it. Like people don't just... I want them to be able to play their instrument better than I can.
It's that classic Beatles thing, isn't it? Like, is Ringo Starr the best drummer in the world?
He's not the best. No, and Paul said it, didn't he? He did. Like a drummer in my band, he was like, "I'm fully aware I'm not the best drummer in this band." Like, yeah, you're not. You might not even be the second best. But like, yeah. Oh, bless him. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to have a fresh set of ears, listen to something. And like for writing, I don't think I'd like to do it without anymore. Yeah. I think it would be difficult to write something and have it sound decent without having somebody else's input. Because if anything, it just kind of spurs you on a bit.
I think it's important to have someone like on a par in terms of quality and level ability. Yeah. In terms of anything that's like, you know, writing or whatever. Yeah. Otherwise, there's always going to be that like disparity between the two. But I quite like the idea of someone offering something different to what I would have done.
Different experiences. Yeah. Exactly. Their own musical experiences. Yeah. And styles and things. Yeah. Seagulls. Yeah, nice. Well, did you just answer that question as well then?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, move on, yeah.
What is your most memorable job?
The cruise ships. I loved working on the cruise ships. So I started off in a band on a celebrity line cruise ship, and that was okay. That was cool. I was bunking with the guitarist, like two people to a room. The money was okay, but you're still like on a cruise ship around the Caribbean. Then I discovered there was a position where you could just be the solo pianist. You get your own room, bigger room as well. The room is literally bigger than the one that you share with, and you get it to yourself, so it's like much better. And the money was nearly double plus tips. And you could go in all the guest areas. I found that was like such a step up.
Was this the Crooner bar?
Yeah, this is Schooner Bar.
Schooner bar.
But
Crooner. Crooner was the other one, wasn't it?
There's no Crooner, no. I just think...
Why do I think it's Crooner?
I did a lot of Rat Pack stuff, so...
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it was that then. All right, yeah.
No, it's just, Schooner Bar on the Royal Caribbean ships, that's why. I just loved it. It was so fun. Probably drank too much. It was hard work, but it was only in the evenings, and then the rest of the time just chilling out, waking up in a different like holiday destination every day.
Yeah, man.
Surrounded by fun
terrible.
people having the best time of their lives. It was it was really great. I loved all that. So that's mine.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough to beat.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I do have to stipulate, it's a little bit of like hitting pause on real life, because you come back and you're like, right, the real world is like a different world.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
I think contracts are like that, full stop.
Yeah, it's easy to like live that life for a long time. I think you could just do it forever.
Yeah,
a lot of people did, and you kind of think, I don't know if that's like really experiencing life.
And coming back to reality is like, well, it is that, isn't it?
It's like a ton of bricks when you get back.
I mean, I think, I think Dubai was probably the best job I had.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's like you're playing.
What were you doing in Dubai, David?
Oh, everything and everything.
For anyone who was listening,
I was I was a guitarist and singer. I think I was supposed to be doing backing singing and a bit of lead.
Yeah.
I ended up doing quite a lot of lead.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it though.
Yeah,
I like the guys I was working with were great. Started with Steph, and then Steph left halfway through, and then we had a guy called JP who jumped in on bass. So that was good. Anyway, it was great, and I was performing 6 nights a week for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a night. That's about right, isn't it? Started at 8 sometime. Yeah.
Plus an extra set on the Friday, wasn't it?
Plus an extra set on the Friday.
Abby and the Avin lunch, wasn't it?
Avin lunch, yeah. Albie. That was funny. Like the contract, the agent had given us the name Abby and the Avalanche, or Avalanches.
Avalanches.
Was it Avalanches?
Yeah, it was the worst of the two options.
But when we went home for Ramadan and then came back, and they'd printed off hundreds of flyers, but they'd spelt it wrong and put Albie and the Avalanches.
Bear in mind, the name was given to us.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that. Yeah, I think that was the pub that had done that. It was the bar that we were playing in. That anyway, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it was like bar. It was cool. And we were put up in the marina for the second half of it. We were living on the 56th floor of like the Dubai Towers, and it sounds proper, like exotic. And I suppose it was, but.
Pretty good views.
It was all right, but it was very much like, this is a pause on life. Go out and enjoy yourself for 6 months, 7 months, like a year.
Don't worry about rent. Don't worry just over a year. Anything.
Yeah, and then just drink yourself silly and 3 meals a day.
Do a bit of music.
It was cool. I definitely didn't like work as much as I could have done. I could have been doing much more recording and production and stuff. But if you're getting paid a decent wage.
That's actually when I kind of started doing that stuff a bit more properly. The
air gig stuff, wasn't it?
The air gigs, online. There'd be a client
session stuff.
The session stuff. So a client would come and say, "Oh, can you produce me a track or something?" And bear in mind, I knew how to. I just hadn't really ever tried to make money doing it. So then I found this website where you could put yourself online and say, "Oh, I can do this for you if you want. Just pay me this much." Started doing it, and both of us make quite a bit from it now.
Yeah, I mean, I joined at the same time as you did.
Yeah.
It was like 2018. Yeah. And then, but I just sat on my account. I didn't do anything with it. You did for quite a while.
Yeah.
And actually, I even did for you.
Yeah,
a lot. There were a lot of jobs where you were like, I need it, like that country song.
Country track, yeah, that was so good.
And I come in and I was like proper hungover. Can you sing this? and it worked.
I can't remember how it even went.
Angel Eyes Wide Open.
That's the one.
Yeah. It was good. And then like
a
couple of years later, I was like, I need to start doing this. And it's quite nice. I didn't realise as much work would come in from musical theatre as it has. But
I get all the religious nuts.
Yeah, you do. I think my biggest client is a guy in Bromley.
Oh, Ollie.
Ollie.
Yeah, he's so good.
He chucks me tune after tune. They are all banging. It's very musical theatre. It's very like pantomime-y. The production's all very similar.
I feel like he's your Matty Glick, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Steph had a client called Matt Glickstein.
Great composer.
We both end up working for him quite a lot as well, haven't we? But you did quite a lot more.
Well, I did a lot of his kind of the production stuff, and then I would just get you to do all the vocals for me.
Yeah, I think my kind of main forte is probably like vocal stacking.
Yeah, you are literally the majority of all of my choirs.
Yeah. We've been selling a choir for a long time, and it's normally just me, like 15, 16, maybe 20 times, and then chart it out for a girl as well, and put that, like the female part in. But yeah, you were doing loads for Matty Glick.
Yeah.
We still get stuff from him every now and again.
From time to time, yeah. So since I took on the musical, I basically had to take a back seat with it all because I just didn't have enough time. But I occasionally do the odd little bit from him now. Yeah. And since then, he's actually started working with another lad who's really good. I've forgotten his name, but he was really good. So he's still doing really well.
It'd be nice actually if we could try and get Matt on like a Zoom call to do this.
That's a great show. Yeah,
we should try and do that.
Yeah,
the same for Ollie.
We'll have to do it at an unsociable hour.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, because he's in Hawaii and we're in Whitstable, like sunny Whitstable. It actually is sunny a lot of the time. It's becoming a bit of a holiday hotspot for Londoners, but it's just
not today. Yeah.
Not today.
No.
It is grim. And then Ollie for me. So like Ollie he's a really talented musical theatre writer, composer.
And you do all the character voices, which I love.
Well, yeah, it kind of like the first one. He was writing a musical based on Phileas Fogg. I never know which one's right.
I feel like it was Phineas.
I don't know. Around the World in 80 Days, and he was like, "Oh, I've got this one. It needs this vocal on it. I'll get somebody to do a French accent at some point." So I thought, all right, I'll just do it. And like, he's like that. Oh, that's wicked. Can you
give us a little preview?
Phileas Fogg was better than mine. Then it comes with inspired. I'm featuring in all the papers. Is that like they were good tracks. And then that wasn't the next one was a pirate. He was like fancy doing Cornish. So I was like, all right. So then I basically recorded like a crew of men doing all of their singing together and all that. I was like, oh, that's wicked. Do you fancy being a Russian diplomat? Like, yep, I do. I'll be a Russian diplomat or Russian prime minister. I can't remember what that one was. You drink the... Oh, yeah. To drink the vodka, need to feel its full effect. I'm going to keep going. And he's just kept going and going and going. And, like Panto season comes around and he needs guide tracks for people and I just do it all. And I love it. I honestly, every time he books me, I'm like, this, yes, okay, wicked. It's another one. But that actually probably brings me on to my next question, which is, most memorable job. That was the same one, wasn't it?
Pretty memorable.
It was pretty memorable.
I quite like the grapefruit song.
Well, I was going to say Le Fucker.
Oh yeah, go on.
I can't. I'm not gonna plug it, but
no, it's worth mentioning.
It's the opposite. Well,
Dave and I get a range of quality of jobs.
This was just completely
by far the worst. I don't mind saying it.
Oh, you don't mind saying? Okay, yeah. I don't often feel uncomfortable. I'm pretty good at feeling comfortable singing anything, really saying anything. It's the only time I've been headphones on in front of a mic going, what the fuck am I doing? This is not worth the money. I don't want my name on it, please.
Yeah, so the job came into me and I said, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Dave, do you want to do this? He was like, all right, I'll do this.
Skin.
As a favour to me and a bit of money.
I was like, yeah, so cheers, Dave. Do it. I did not want to do it. And actually, even afterwards was like, oh no, I don't want my name on it. But I didn't realise that other jobs that we'd done for the same person hadn't said, I don't want my name on it. And it's quite clearly the same voice, but those have got my name written all over them. I'm like, ah. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So what's your funniest gig story?
Gig story?
Well, actually, funny, like this, that's proper putting I don't know, funniest. Yeah.
So one that just springs to mind. I'm sure I may have funnier than this, but one that definitely springs to mind was being on one of the ferries from Newcastle to sort of Amsterdam. It was Melden. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, the port nearest Amsterdam, and every other ship in the port had decided they weren't going to sail that day because it was too
bit choppy,
too treacherous. Our ship was just like, "Nah, we got this. It's fine. We're going to sail through a storm because we've got some cargo that needs delivered. So we're just going to go anyway."
Yeah.
Anyway, it is the funniest thing because people that go on those ferries love a good drink, and they're going to Amsterdam, so they're up for a good time.
Getting legless anyway.
So the people on the dance floor would, as one, rush about 20 meters to one side, and then the ship would move, and then 20 meters this way, maybe 10 meters this way, and then we had one guy. There was a banister railing type thing at the front of our the stage. By the way, I'm trying to play leaning against the wall so I don't fall over.
Right.
And then one of the guests fell into the banister, flipped over and kicked the guitarist in the head. And the guitarist falls over with his guitar.
Oh, no.
But it's still going though. The ship doesn't stop. Like that happens. We're still trying to play. Bear in mind, we'd only been playing together for about 3 or 4 days. I was we're just trying to remember how it all goes because we've learned 200 songs in like 4 days, and then you're trying not to throw up.
Yeah.
And trying to remember how the song goes, and then you're trying to avoid guests kicking you in the head. It sounds
quite similar to
it was carnage.
It sounds similar to the one we had a couple of weeks ago, and like
okay,
someone knocked
divers.
the speaker. Yeah. And like the speaker starts falling. I'm like looking over, and the bass player's there with his speaker just coming on, like, wah, and it was going to go, wasn't it? It was going to have him. Sort of like stopped playing and went and held this thing. But like, I don't know. I don't make any bones about telling people now because I feel like most of the time they don't care anyway. But like, it's dangerous. I think mine was probably a gig in Maidstone with High Tide. Gig in Maidstone with High Tide, and there was loads of like chavvy boys walking around afterwards, and like thinking, oh, okay. We had to walk a little way to get from the venue, to get all the stuff from the venue to the like back to the van. And like, it's a bit of a mess now, the van, but at the time I hadn't long done it all out. So there's like a bed in there, and there's like garlands and all that sort of stuff around. It just looks a bit nice. I'm loading stuff in, and all these boys walking about outside, and I get in and I put one of the speakers down, and the door slams behind me. I'm thinking, one of these is just being an idiot.
Yeah.
And I turn around, and this bloke's like crouched there with a fag, going, "It's quite nice in here, isn't it?" What are you doing? And he goes, "We was going to jump you, but it's quite nice in here, so I won't bother." It's like, "Oh, right. Well, thanks very much."
That's gigging in Kent for you.
He's like, "Do you mind me being in here?" I was like, "Yeah, I fucking do. Get out." I finished work. I'm trying to load up.
If it wasn't so audacious, you'd probably kick off and actually like
get
aggressive. But
he was just really chilled. Like, we were going to jump you actually, but we're not going to bother now.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool.
So if it was a mess, nice, so always keep your van tidy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. You got another one?
That's me done, I think, isn't it?
Was it?
Did I have a second one? Maybe I did.
I don't know.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it was the freelance versus steady paycheck argument.
Okay.
Like kind of I guess this is a point where you'd be quite well stationed to give some advice to anyone listening about the difference between getting a steady job, i.e., I don't know, what's a steady job these days?
I've done everything, haven't I?
Yeah.
I basically tried every job that I could think of to see if one would give me as much enjoyment as being creative or in the creative industry does, and it just isn't anything that comes close. So I was a barista for a long time, worked in shed loads of different restaurants, like waiter, trying to work up to the obvious ones.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the...
You're a dog lawyer, briefly.
Yeah, so I got a job working for a solicitors that did just the law on dogs. Shout out to doglaw.co.uk. Yeah, if you're in England and need dog advice, Cooper & Co. is the best place to go. So I was paralegal there for a long time. And actually, they were really, really good to me because whenever I was going off to do a contract, when I came back, they were like, do you just want a job for another couple of months until you go back? And I am still very thankful for it. I still get invited to the Christmas parties and everything. It's well good. I'll ring you back later. Yeah. And then, what else did I do? Oh yeah, when I came back from Dubai, I got a job as a car salesman. I actively tried not to get the job. Yeah. I when they're like, well, you had to stand up in front of a room of 80, 90 people all trying to go for the same jobs. There was a handful of jobs. And tell people why you were there. Why you applied for the job. Why you were there on the day, and I don't know, it was something. I was like, oh no, your name.
Dave just sang 9 to 5.
I did. I quite visually got the ump when they were like, where should we start? And the girl next to me went, I'll start. I went, for God's sake, knowing that I was going to be the next one. And then it was like, right, I'm Dave. I've applied because I'm unemployed and I need a job, and I'm here today because I was told there was going to be a free lunch. And then they said, oh, you go into another interview, and they were like, oh, you need to describe yourself in 30 seconds, but you're not allowed to talk about your previous jobs, and you're not allowed to talk about cars. Now, everything I'd done up to then had been either music or photography, really. So I was like, well, that is my hobby, but that's also been my job. So of the 30 seconds, I spent 26 of them going, and they went, well, I'm Dave. And they went, all right, that's it. That's your time up. I went, cool, all right, I'll get my coat. Nice one. Thanks for having me. I'll see you later. And they put me through again. And then the final one, they were like, you need to ask loads of questions to get information about people, out of people, about what car they want and what that. So I was like, yeah, all right, I can do that. But they again put me number 10 in the order. And by the time it got to the end, they were like, you need to determine whether they want to buy the car or not. And I just went, cash or credit? Oh, they were all asking questions, trying to get, and I was like, cash or credit? And they were like, you ain't got the job yet. I was like, I'm not bothered if I haven't got the job or not. So actively taking the mick out of one of the managers. He's like, where do you see yourself? He's like, yeah. It's taken me 10 years to become a manager of a branch and this and that. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I was like, well, you look like you got a pretty comfy chair. I reckon he was like, take me 10 years to get here. I was like, I reckon I could do it in 5.
Nice.
And anyway, yeah, so this was not the question, was it?
No, it wasn't, but that's all right. I quite enjoy it. Anecdotal.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was a paralegal for a long time, car salesman, barista, waiter. I've been worked in building sites.
How does all that compare to the freelance gig?
It's shit, man. It's crap. It's weird because you know exactly how much you're going to get paid at the end of the month. You can kind of plan for that.
Yeah.
But you will still end up with nothing left by the end of the month and waiting for the next paycheck. This is much more nerve-wracking. You never know whether you're going to get money or not.
There's ups and downs.
But it's much more fun on the way. And actually, this way, there can be months where you don't earn as much. But there are other months where you earn 3, 4, 5 times as much. Yeah. You have a good month of gigs. Yeah. And like contract stuff, and everything comes in at the same time. Wicked. Yeah. And I think there's something I still do a bit of teaching for a music school and a bit of freelance kind of coaching for another academy that specialises in performing arts and things. So I'm kind of there as a consultant as well, and I think having those little things that you have, I am still freelance. I'm still self-employed. I am my own boss, but having those few hours a week that I do for other people.
You know, it's definitely there.
Exactly. I mean, it's not always the same. It fluctuates. The amount fluctuates, so the pricing fluctuates. But it's still always like a little bit I can rely on. So yeah, I think that helps. Yeah. What have you got on this week? What's your?
I'm finishing getting everything prepared and ready for Monday, which is rehearsals from Monday through Saturday, and then on Sunday we're doing another run performance of Kin the Musical, which is us just testing the new material.
I'm not sure when this will go out.
Yeah,
by the way, but that may well have already been
most likely already done. So Sunday the 23rd of April is where we're doing that, and then once that's done, we'll be looking to the next big performance of Kin the Musical. So this will definitely have gone out before the big performance, which is likely to be
end of the year,
perhaps maybe end of summer, maybe autumn, perhaps as late as October. We're not sure yet. We're still making plans and arrangements.
And are you around next week?
No,
not really at all. So
no,
it'll be the week after.
I'll be up in Hitchin, Hertfordshire.
So it'll be a couple of weeks between this and the next one.
Yeah. Although tonight, what's the day? Wednesday?
Thursday.
It's Thursday today. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
So we've got open mic in...
That's tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So we've got open mic in Beltinge.
I didn't bring my piano.
Oh.
Fucked that one.
Nah, go back and get it.
Yeah, I might go back and get it.
Yeah.
Did I? No, I didn't. Yeah. Anyway. And I also didn't bring the acoustic for you.
I could do with that.
I did not come prepared at all.
No.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Oh.
Anyway, so that's the first.
Cool.
That's the first one.
That's the first of the Stave coffee sessions.
Have we got a gig this weekend? Saturday.
Yeah, Rising Sun again.
Oh yeah. Of course we have. Dodgy Dave's dance band. Anyway, so cheers everyone.
Yes. What's going on? Sorry.
What?
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, cool. Cheers, everyone. We will make these as often as we possibly can. I'd like to do it weekly, if we can, but there'll be a couple of weeks between this one and the next one.
Yeah, this is the pilot.
Yeah, this is the pilot. Yeah. I'm not expecting anybody to see this until we've already got like 6 or 7 of them up, and then we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, everyone.
Yeah, feel free to give us a shout if you want. We're either on Instagram at stave_studios.
Yeah.
The email is info@stavestudios.co.uk.
Is it?
It is. It is. Or you can catch us individually on Instagram I am at Dr. Photophonics or Dr. Photophonics.
I'm just Stephen JK89.
K89.
That's it. Nothing exciting.
Yeah, give us a shout.
Yeah.
We'll catch you when you catch it.
Cheers all.
Goodbye.